Oh, hey. Hey, what you doing? Oh, I was just editing.
Oh.
Can I come in? Girl, what do you mean? You're literally my roommate. Well, like, can I just come in? Like, can I come in? Why are you acting so weird? You a vampire or something? No, like, what are you talking about? Oh!
From monsters like Nosferatu to fan favorites like Edward from Twilight, vampires have been a long-standing myth for ages. For centuries, they have struck fear into the hearts of adults and children alike. Originating from plague times, vampires started as an explanation for the unknown. If you think about it, germ theory wasn't invented until the mid to late 1800s, so for a long time, the microscopic world of bacteria and viruses was unknown. During times of plague, people would bury contaminated, contagious bodies, not knowing they were at risk of getting the disease themselves. This is where vampires come in. When people realized the dead were a source for disease to spread, they were terrified. Looking for a way to explain the horrible phenomenon, they came up with blood-sucking vampires, rising out of the grave to strike down their loved ones and destroy communities. People were so scared, in fact, that they even started targeting the corpses of children and performing anti-vampire burials. In these burials, they would desecrate the body, decapitating it or burying the body again with rocks. Eventually, this fear surrounding the vampire would be weaponized against people. Those that were considered to be out of the norm or different were labeled as vampires. This could include people who were born out of wedlock, people who were foreign to the area, those who believed in beliefs that were different from the majority, or even people who were said to have an unusual physical appearance. While modern science no longer allows for the genuine, full-hearted belief in vampires, why are they still so important today? What do they offer us? For some, the vampire may have lost its original intent to scare, becoming the object of our desires. For others, the vampire may only serve as a way to push negative agendas and isolate others. In reality, the vampire has remained a symbol of fear, but in a more modern context. In doing so, it's created a space for audiences to think more about complex social issues today. The vampire's external appearance and behavior may not have the same bone-chilling fear associated with it now, but it has an implied sense of fear in more internal aspects of its character. Basically, we tend to think more about the evil within. For example, in movies like The Hunger. In a movie centered around a growing romantic relationship between two female leads, the fear of the vampire not only comes from their vampiric abilities, but from internal aspects about the characters, like homosexuality. It creates a link between societal fears around homosexuality and the monster that we assume vampires are. In doing so, it creates a space that highlights the social issue of prejudice and acceptance. Another example of this is in the TV show True Blood. True Blood was an early 2010s show centered around vampires and other supernatural creatures. It was a fairly popular show in its heyday, getting around 9 million viewers at its peak. In a world where vampires are no longer required to hurt people to get the blood they need, the label of vampires is once again used to define them as less than, or simply something other than human. It uses the idea that things or people outside of what's considered to be normal are scary. Vampires are used in the show to portray the real-life experiences of grappling with issues like fitting into the dominant race, or searching for acceptance in a place you feel you belong. This, once again, creates a space for audiences to engage with these social issues, influencing how they view them in the future. From their earliest origins to their current place in modern media, vampires have remained impactful cultural symbols throughout time. They can represent more than the tortured love interest or the simple monster under the bed. Whether you realize it or not, vampires can have an impact on how we interact and think about our own world today. They give way to encourage change, question our own social values, and shift our personal perspectives.